Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I'm your host, Jason Shea. Today, we are excited to chat with Kevin and Steve, a dynamic duo behind Tenzi, a fast-paced dice game that have been taken toy world by the storm. And they met at an ad agency in the 90s and reconnected many years later. Together, they created a game that earned multiple Astra awards and really captivate both kids and adults alike. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Absolutely, Jason. Thanks.
So the first question, of course, I want to talk about is what inspired you to get to come together and create the Tenzi that we know as of today?
Sure. I'll start with that, Steve. And so a little bit of background is, as like Steve, I've always loved games. Steve has always loved games. And about 15 years ago, a few years before Tenzi, I came up with a game idea. And somebody introduced me to a game agent, which I didn't know such people existed. But in my nearby town, she's a game agent. I showed her the idea for this game I had, and she was able to sell it or license it to a game company. So I felt thrilled that I had an idea that my daughter and I had come up with, and then I was in the game business in a sense through licensing. So then, 6 months later, it was around Christmas time, and I was out cutting down a Christmas tree, and I bump into my old friend Steve, who used to work at the same ad agency that I worked at. And we said, "Hey, what are you up to these days?" And we swapped stories. And I said, "I think I'm in the game business now because I came up with a game idea and now I'm licensing it." So Steve perked up and said, "I've got game ideas. Let's get together someday." So we said, "Sure." So maybe 6 months later, we finally got together. We kicked around ideas for a number of months and it didn't really click. And we were showing it to the game agent. Didn't really capture it. And then one day I was doing a little research and I heard that one of the big game companies was interested in a dice game. So I said to Steve, I handed him a whole bunch of dice and I took a bunch of dice and I said, "Steve, let's see if we can come up with a dice game because somebody's looking for it. Maybe we'll license it to them." So Steve went his way. I went my way for a couple of weeks to see if we could come up with a dice game. And now I'll turn it over to Steve.
So Kevin gave me a big bag of dice and that was the starting point. And from there, we come up with different game ideas with 2 dice, 4 dice, 6 dice, and just kept adding dice until me and my daughter were playing one game, and we just kept adding dice till we got to 10 dice. I said, that's a nice even number. Kevin and I are both pretty simple people, so I got to 10 dice. I was like, that's a nice even number. So I said, I wonder how fast I can get all 10 dice on one number. And I did it with my daughter right there. And that was fun. Let's do it again. And just a simple act of trying to get 10 dice rolling fast, collecting on one number. And so I said, there's something there. And so I brought it over to Kevin a couple days later. I said, I think I got something. And Kevin is the visionary of this group. So I explained the rules to him, the game to him, and in his infinite wisdom,
I said, "You got to be kidding me. This is the big idea. Now, who are you to waste my time on something like this?" So he goes, "No, let's just play it." And sure enough, we played at my dining room table. I said, "This is fun." We started tweaking the rules there. We tweaked the game a little bit and walked out with basically the concept. And Steve showed me a piece of paper he had where it said, like Yahtzee. Was it Steve? Yahtzee on steroids?
Speed Yahtzee.
Speed Yahtzee. So in a sense, Yahtzee, but it's not like Yahtzee at all because it's a speed game, a simple speed game. So it started there.
And because there were so few moving pieces in this game, literally 10 dice times 4, 40 dice.
Yeah.
Other than licensing it, that was our intention. We said, I think we can try to make some prototypes and let's what happens if we do this ourselves, knowing nothing about what that entail.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in the industry.
What year was it again when you got?
That was 2010. Yeah, 2010.
Oh, wow. Okay,
right.
okay.
So we spent the next couple of weeks coming up with prototype. We ordered bulk dice from Amazon. We did create a logo with our designer and stuff.
Were you also trying to learn Chinese so you can speak with the Chinese factory?
Not at that time, but that came later. And so eventually we had 6 prototypes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we started knocking on some local toy stores.
Yep. And first one said, no, not interested. Second one said, maybe come back later when the manager's here. But on the third knock, we went to a store very close to Steve and I called Hobby Town.
Oh, Hobby Town. Yeah.
I know. We met the most magnificent woman that morning on October 30th, I think it was, 2010. And it was 10 o'clock in the morning. A lot of tens happening there. And he said, we're a little sheepish about it. We said, we're local game inventors and we have some prototypes of this new dice game. And we're wondering if you might carry it. She said, guys, if you can tell me how to explain it 30 seconds, or if you can explain it to me in less than 30 seconds, I might be interested. So immediately Steve and I said, oh, we certainly have a game that you can explain in less than 30 seconds. We said, you take 10 dice, roll them as fast as you can, and whoever can collect 10 of the same number before anybody else does, yells Tenzi. And she immediately said, oh, I love it. Give me your prototypes. So she took the 6 prototypes that we had, and Steve and I are hanging out in her store, just looking at some other games and toys. 5 minutes later, she yells over, hey guys, I got your first sale. And the first customer who came into her store, she said, I've got this brand new game. The inventors are right over there. And she sold it successfully. And we were there for her first sale. So that's how, and she was so instrumental because I will say subsequently, she then did a video testimonial as a retailer that we could then start to take to other retailers to talk about how good it was.
Wow. Okay. That's such a fun story. Thank you for sharing that. My next question is, I know Tenzi has really become a huge hit in the market. What do you think that contribute to its success in such a competitive industry?
Steve, I'll start to take over part of it. Since Steve and I weren't in the industry, in a way that worked in our favor because we didn't do what would be expected. We didn't put in a cardboard box. We borrowed from our backgrounds in marketing and consumer packaged goods. So I think we looked at things a little differently. That was one thing. But Steve, go ahead. Talk about how we...
Well, a good example of that is when we went to our first toy fair. Again, for example of Kevin saying that we didn't know what to do or what not to do. So we just did things maybe against the grain. We were at toy fair and showing all our stuff. And there was another vendor across the way, an older gentleman. Okay. He was watching us for a couple hours in the first morning when we were doing it.
Yeah.
So I came over and we were giving games out left and right, giving them for free. Here, take our game. It's free. He came over. He said, what the hell are you guys doing? And we said, we're just sampling our games, giving people our games, having some fun. And he said, you guys don't know what the F you're doing, do you? You never give them anything for free. And we thought, these are retailers who may try our game and like our game and come back for our game. And so he dismissed us with a wave of his hand, went back to his booth. And sure enough, those folks that we gave our games to for free doing the wrong thing, they came back later that day or the next day and said, we played your game at the hotel. That was so fun. Sign me up. I'm in. And so not knowing what we were doing
actually helped.
No. And then we started, it was funny. We saw the power of sampling and we started handing them out to the fellow vendors, manufacturers like ourselves. So everybody was getting a game. And then what would happen is stores would come by and go, oh, somebody down the way told us to stop by your booth. Another vendor said, or another manufacturer said, go by the Tenzi booth. So anytime we put a game in somebody's hand, it seemed to pay back effectively. And that was Toy Fair 2012. And it just got crazy. So for 3.5 days solid, we were nonstop rolling dice. Retailers were telling other retailers, reps wanted to start to rep us. And it was an exhausting, wonderful 3.5 days as everybody wanted it. But it took a year and a half to get to that point.
Get that point, yeah.
The first holiday season was 2010. And we were in a couple stores. And then the holiday season, 2011, and how many stores that season?
Built up to 75, maybe 100.
Maybe 75 stores. And
Whoa, nice.
so all indications were good. Then we said, let's go to Toy Fair 2012. And that's when it blew up. We said, I think we got a big decision to make here.
I see. Okay. And I want to follow up on the ad agency experience you guys also had. What kind of ad agency was it?
So consumer packaged goods. So we work on things like Slim Jims or Seagram's, Ocean Spray, things like that. Yeah. And I think one of the things why that was such a great background for both of us is that advertising teaches you got to have a really tight message and it better have value for the other person and it should be entertaining. So that's a tough discipline. Make it short, make it entertaining and make it have value. Yeah. But through that helped us hone our message when we were at the trade shows and other things.
Nice. What is some of the biggest lesson that you have learned through your toy entrepreneur journey over the last decade?
Lots. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah. One of the lessons, again, it's not necessarily in the industry, just talking with people.
Okay.
Friends, parties, cocktail, anywhere. 99% of the people walking on the earth have an idea. It's an idea for a story, a book, a recipe, a product, something. But so maybe 1% of 1% actually do something with it.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, that's very rich.
And we're very fortunate nowadays because the barriers to entry to so many industries are so low that if you have an idea, just go do it. Figure out some way to do it. You'll bump into someone else, whether it's an old buddy or someone new who's doing a similar thing, and getting together with someone else can move the idea forward.
I see.
Yeah, I'll add to that because I think one thing, and I know I used to feel it years ago, you have an idea and you become very protective of it. Not sure who you should tell because it's such a wonderful idea. Everything. Maybe it's out there. Maybe it happens on occasion, but we found that the more people we talk to, they'll connect you with somebody else. They'll want to help you.
I agree.
Rather than keep it so tight, start to get the word out there. And I would also add and if you can partner up with somebody, that has great value too, because you bounce ideas off each other for a lot of reasons. It's great to to try to go on the path with another person.
I see. So I want to transition the second part of our interview to more talking about on the marketing side, because your product is very unique. And I think one of the key things for your success is like giving out the samples and having people actually play it. But some of those is hard to do that when you are doing digital marketing or online marketing. Especially, I think when you first started in 2010, Amazon wasn't as big as they are right now. Yeah. So I want to just how is your experience trying to promote your products through different online channels? Like, how's your experience has been? Like, what has been working and what has been not working so far?
That's a weak area for us. I tell you what, Steve and I are old school. So what our marketing was, once we had this game, the simple, fast game, and again, it had value for the retailer because in their world, they have to explain it to mom or dad who's walking through the store in a matter of seconds.
Yes.
One of the things that we did, and I looked towards Steve, I think Steve just came out of your Slim Jim's background with a display rack. We created a display rack for Tenzi, and it had 9 games.
Okay.
And what we said in the supermarket business, so where Ocean Spray would be and other things, you have to pay a lot of money to get sampling, to get displays, to get all that stuff.
Placement.
It costs money. But in the specialty toy area, which is the area we focused on, no big box for us, we made that decision. We would say to a retailer, would you be willing to take this little display, which was about 6 inches by 6 inches in a footprint, and put it by your cash register, and it had a header card, and it holds 9 games, and for $67.50, and we'll give you a free demo game. you'll set it up and you'll be off to the races. And they were like, for only $67.50, that could cost me a lot of money. Sure, I'll put your display out, and they could demonstrate it. And that's what really launched us. So we do some e-commerce, and we are on Amazon. We have one or two people that sell on that. Ours was old school sampling in the store, get the staff to talk about it. That has been our key.
I see. That's definitely something I'm weak on. I'm really weak on retail, but I'm very strong on digital marketing. That's my specialty. But when retail, I'm lost, as I don't really know what to do when it comes to retail. So that leads to my next question. Why do you choose to focus in the specialty store or the specialty toy market instead of the big box retail?
I guess half of that, part of it is because that's where we started. We just walked in the door. So we started down that road, and we got such fantastic traction with them. And over the years have built such a fantastic network.
Okay.
And it's word of mouth network. It's they come by or the toy fair, or when you email them, they say, hey, what else do you have? So it's an incredibly personal kind of relationship. Whereas anytime we've done kind of bigger stores, and we've never gotten big box stores, but whenever we've gotten bigger chains, it's been, you're a number to them.
True. Just like we talked about Barnes and Noble before the show. So
yeah, they've been fantastic. So we haven't had any issues, but when you become just a number, that's when it's less fun, it's less engaging, and it's less.
I see. So for the retail, do you also utilize sales rep group then yourself?
Yeah. So what that very first retailer that we went to back in October of 2010, at one point said, you guys need a rep. And we said, what's a rep? And she said, and they explained how the rep system works and introduced us to one of the reps that calls on her from a company called Roberts Bloomberg up in the Northeast. And they liked the game Tenzi. So they started getting us into all the other stores that we could never do on our own. And they had those relationships. And then once one rep had it, they would talk to other reps around the country and say, hey, you may be interested in this game. So the word got out to the rep community and signed us up. And again, they have been critical to our success because they have the relationships with the specialty stores and got us in there. And then the game sold itself because of the display, because of the price, because of the demo.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. A selfish question, because we are also trying to find a sales rep group. What is your suggestion to find the right one? What do you look for when you first pick the sales rep group? Sounds like it's like a referral, but do you?
Yeah, it is a referral. At Toy Fair 2012, when the word was out there and all of a sudden it seemed like every rep wanted us, it was just a gut feeling. Who do we feel like is listening to us? Who do we feel like we have good chemistry with? Who could we work with for a long time?
Right.
So it was just a gut decision that we made. And
I almost feel like someone needs to go there and create like a Yelp version of all the sales rep group with reviews and all that. It's like almost no data. I think some of the things we do in the toy and game industry is very outdated. It's very old school.
Right.
Which I sometimes struggle with myself a little bit.
But I guess that's, again, there's two sides to that, because a lot of the way we run our business with sales reps, or it's analog, old school. Right?
Yeah.
We're not maximizing with digitals to our detriment.
Sure.
But what we do with this kind of old school analog, word of mouth, people knocking on doors, it also lines up. One of the things that consumers love about our games, they say, oh, our family, the kids put their phones down. It's something that everyone brings together. So our games have an old school feel to them. So I guess the way we work kind of lines up with that.
Yeah. And I'll just add that we learned so much from Tenzi. And the biggest thing we probably learned from Tenzi is the simplicity factor. So when we go to trade shows, which is a major way we do our marketing, when we probably go to a half a dozen a year. So when we're at a trade show, such as Toy Fair or Astra, what we're trying to figure out is when we're looking at new games and considering new games is when a retailer comes to our booth, could we explain it not in 30 seconds, maybe not even in 15 seconds, but within 10 seconds or so, They should be able to understand the essence of the game.
Yes.
And then seconds later, we're playing it with them and they're laughing, having a good time. So when people pitch us ideas, if it doesn't meet that criteria, then we're not interested because we know.
Yeah, I was at your booth in Astra, and I think me and my sister was playing the game, and I got my ass whooped by her. I still remember that.
Your sister was very good. Your sister was very good. Yeah.
She's very good. She beat me every single turn. And because you have been doing this business for so long, what are some of the major challenges in not just maybe development or selling Tenzi over the years that you would like to share with the audience? And how do you overcome some of those major challenges?
Yeah, I think there's a few challenges. One is that the stores, when we went to our second toy fair, I remember after it, Steve said, "Hey, what was the big learning?" And I said, "Wow, every store wants what's new, what's next, what's new." So there's constant pressure to give us new, but Tenzi, thankfully, we never had what's new. We didn't have our next game. It took us 4 or 5 years to get there. And it actually worked in our favor because we could focus on Tenzi and do a line extension of Tenzi. So that worked for our favor. But I think competition and so many games coming in, that's one of the, again, how do you continue to stand above the crowd and be known in the store? So I think the competition is one challenge. And Steve, I know, is thinking about another big challenge that we've had.
Yeah, production. I mean, is that, yeah, again, and we have fantastic partner supplier who we work with and who's done all our games fantastic. But there's no matter how many times you do it, even on our first time, we had our first big shipment come in and we send all of them out. And then we started to get the phone calls in the morning and we're like, this is it. Everyone loves our game. And the phone call came in and said, the bottom of your tube is falling out. I have I have dice all over my store. And we said, oh my God. And then another call came in and the same problem. The tubes are falling out. The dice are falling out. The tubes are in the bottom of the tube.
Oh, no. Okay.
So, and we said, oh, we're apologizing. Sorry. And they said, don't say sorry. I've fixed it and we sold it. Just send me more games. That was our first time. And then we fixed the issue and our supplier was great. And they fixed it. We reinforced it. Okay. That was our first one. And our latest one, there's another problem. And it's not the manufacturing, but it's things you can try to prevent that issues from happening, but they always inevitably pop up some way or another. You never see coming.
Yeah. So, well, we know Tenzi is not your only game. Do you have the new one that you can demo to our audience on the video for the second one that you
We're okay with that, Steve?
Yeah.
I've got it right here. Our newest game, which has been giving us some of the production challenges, is called Chipsy. That'll be coming out in just a few months here. That's our newest. And like Tenzi, it's similar in the sense that the package is similar to Tenzi. It's a simple game like Tenzi. It's going to have a rack like Tenzi. The retailers want it because they played it at Astra and whatnot. So that's going to be our newest.
Can you explain the rule under 30 seconds as well?
Sure. There's 49 chips, 7 different colors, numbered 1 through 7. You have them all face down. Somebody picks a color and you say, go. And the first one who can find all 7 of their color before anybody else finds all 7 of their color yells Chipsy and wins.
Yeah, that's the game I got my ass kicked.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
I'm not fast enough like my sister does. So, and maybe I'm getting too old. Okay, so I think the next question I have is, because over the years, when you're going to all the different trade shows, and this is something I'm also trying to learn as a toy entrepreneur, because trade show is not my specialties. I just been to a few. I definitely doesn't go to as many as you guys, compare relatively speaking. What are some of the tips or tricks that you recommend other toy entrepreneurs when they're considering or doing trade show or going to Astra? Is it a certain way you set up the booths, or some of any strategy you would do to try to maximize the trade show?
Pick your booth space carefully. And when you're new at it, you don't often get the preferred spaces, but to the degree you can, think about the layout where you're going to get the max exposure on a corner or whatever. So that's important. I remember a toy fair, the cost to rent a light, an overhead light, spotlight for 3 days is $500. And in the beginning, I'm thinking, why would we do that? It was a great move because it just, the booth explodes in color and life and energy. And so you learn that. Steve did a great job of designing with our designer tablecloths. So now down the road, when people are down the aisle, they can see either the Tenzi banner or the Slapsy banner or Bilsy, whatever it may be. They can see that. So those are some of the things that learn.
There's also, again, just some simple things, and they don't sound like a lot, but when you stack them together, it creates, Kevin said earlier, getting a partner. Trade shows, being alone, being one person at a trade show, it's really tough to build the energy. If you have a partner in your booth and you're talking and you're getting some energy, you're jokes and stuff like that.
You couldn't even really go to the toilet because no one there.
Exactly. But something as simple as some people have their booth and open so people can walk into their booth and look at all their products and stuff. So what we do is we put tables on the outside of our booths.
Yeah.
And we stay in the booth.
Yeah.
So that when people come and play our game, a kind of a crowd of people gathers or builds outside the booth in the aisle. And clogs up traffic. And so other people say, oh, what's going on in that booth?
Over there. Yeah. You attract people's attention.
A self-fulfilling prophecy there.
Yeah, and I would also add, have some sort of gimmick or hook. One of the things when the retailer was interested in buying Tenzi, we'd say, okay, great, we can sell to you, but let's try to get you a discount now. Depending on how fast you can roll a Tenzi, and we're going to time you here, you can either get 5, 10, or 15% off your purchase. So
I love that.
We're gamifying. Yeah, so now they're playing more. They're happy. They got a discount. More people are coming to the booth because they hear some screams and yells and happiness. So, good.
I love that.
And the gimmick, Kev, the gimmick was the game.
The game itself.
They had to play the game in order to get the discount. So they would know how to play the game when they took it back to their store.
That's very smart. Yeah.
And we told them, this is a great gimmick to do in your store when a customer comes in, and then you say to them, you want to get 10% off your discount or your order, your choice today? If you can beat me at Tenzi, you'll get that. And they say, what's Tenzi? And they just sold another Tenzi game because after they play it, the consumer loves it.
That's really smart. It's go around. I love that strategy. Thank you so much for sharing. So any other strategy you guys do that's find it very helpful? Of course, definitely engagement and make it interactive. I think.
Yeah. Steve and I are critiquing each other all the time to get our story as tight as we can. So Steve will sell it to me and explain a game to me. And I'm like, all right, Steve, I start to get a little confused or there's too much information. So how can we make that tighter? Or Steve will do the same for me. Yeah. So you want to have a partner to coach you. The other thing is in the beginning, when we're in our booth, we would politely ask people, we'd say, hi, would you like to try our new game? And they'd smile and say, no, we're okay. And then again, we'd say, hi, would you like to try our new game? No. So we changed it from a polite question to more energy and a statement. We'd look at people right in the eye and wave to them and say, this is the fastest game you will ever play. They would slowly come over, go, okay, what is it? But that made the difference. Rather than asking politely, it was, come on over, let's have some fun type of thing.
Okay. Love that.
Make it fun.
Yeah. Well, in the toy industry, after all.
Absolutely.
We need to have some fun, so for sure. As well, wrapping up in today's interview, the final question I always like to ask my guests is, if you had to share just one piece of advice with someone that's getting started in the toy industry, what would that be? And I would like both of you to take turn and answer the question.
I'll go back to find a partner. So I said it before, I'm going to repeat that. Find somebody that you can do this business with, that you work well with, that you can see working with for a good amount of time, that has complementary skills, what you have. So look to partner with somebody would be one idea I'd have.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Steve?
I'd say try to be the good guys We've always tried to do what we can, answering the phone on the weekend to getting orders out same day to, I know Kevin, a lot of times if a store's gone through issues or some hard times, he'll just cancel their invoice and say, you know what, we're going to take this off. You have enough to worry about. And over the years, we've heard so many retailers saying, we love working with you guys. It's so easy. And again, back to that network of small retailers or small specialty retailers versus big box.
Yeah.
It's such a rewarding kind of energy loop that they give to us and we give back to them.
Yeah.
It makes going to work fun.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. So where can people find you online?
There's a thing called Amazon. First of all, there's our website, which is tenzi.com, Tenzi, tenzi.com, and all our games are there and videos of our games, and you can purchase it there. But we are on Amazon, and we do have an Instagram page, which is Tenzi Games. And we're on Facebook, Tenzi Games. So that's some places they can find us.
Okay, thank you so much. And for our listeners, thank you so much for watching and tuning in to today's episode of Toy Business Unboxed. We hope you have enjoyed the conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and would love it if you can leave us a review and share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. For more resources, tips, and the latest update in the toy industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag Toy Business Unboxed. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joy to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I'll see you in the next episode, and thank you, everyone.